3rd October 2025. This is my video log for my recent meditation and out-of-body experiences. Let's start with OBE 105. OBE 105 took place on 12th September 2025, and during the day I meditated in silence for about 45 minutes in school, and in the evening before falling asleep I repeated a few times my affirmations to have an OBE and quietly fell asleep. Then it was a dream conversion. In the dream I realized that it was a dream. First I tried to fly around, then immediately I thought, no, I should get out of my body instead. Perhaps it took about a second, then the dream world collapsed and there was nothingness. First exit. First I didn't know what to do in that darkness or nothingness. But soon I remembered that I could try to just get up and out of my body. I did that and surely it worked, and I separated completely from my body. Then I got out. I was not in my room but already standing in a very beautiful world. I thought of exploring this place and started to float around where I was changing directions by my own will. And after some flying, I saw a big hill at a distance, and there were some buildings in front of me, and I couldn't control the movement and went straight towards one of the buildings. I thought that I do not want to crash there and enter into nothingness like my previous OBEs. I approached closer and closer and then passed through the building. And after going through a few buildings, there was a click and I was back in my body. Second exit. I tried to get out again and it worked. It felt a bit heavy during separation, and once out, everything was dark. I went outside from the kitchen and through the balcony, and I jumped outside and said, "Take me to a healing journey." Suddenly, I started to rise up. After some rising, I was very high above the ground, almost the same level as the clouds. There I saw two of my relatives, two nieces. I told them that I want to go for a healing journey and asked them if they can take me there. They said of course. They were floating in some sort of vehicle, a cloud-like structure. At least it appeared to me like a cloud. They took me with them much higher than where we were. Soon we arrived at a hospital-like setting. I thought that this must be an Astral hospital. We entered through the main door. There were many people there, almost crowded. I wanted to start with the people I know because it was just too many of them out there. Also in my mind I knew that I don't have much time and I could get back anytime. I looked around and saw somebody familiar. I don't know who that person is, but there it felt very familiar. It felt like I knew him. I approached him thinking what to do. He was lying on floor, and as I was close to him, he stood up. He said that a snake bit him and that's how he died. I recited Mahamrityunjaya mantra for him. Then I felt that I was getting back to my body. I couldn't do anything and soon I was fully back. General comments. This was the first OBE after 3 months. After my last OBE in June, I traveled to Nepal, Portugal and France and did not have any OBEs during my traveling. I think while traveling there are many information entering the mind and also the body gets tired. I think both the body and mind needs rest to have these experiences. OBE 106 took place on 17th September 2025. I did not meditate during the day. Also, in the evening I was just tired and hungry. Then I ate a lot of food and slept early, around 7 p.m. First I played the OBE alarm on my phone, and as I fell asleep, I repeated some affirmations in my mind. Out of body now. Please take me to a soul rescue, or please take me wherever I need to be. Around 9:30, I changed my sleeping position and I put my left hand next to my head like that and my right hand above the head like that. Soon I felt the tonal ear pulsation for some time. Then I started to sync. I separated from my legs first. I was still not sure if it was the separation or not, but I tried to go out anyways, and it worked. Then I thought of going through the window and approached it. Since everything was dark, I stopped for a while to create a protective layer around me and thought of the energy balloon around me. Then I opened the door and asked, "Is anyone here?" I didn't get any answer, or I didn't hear any answer. I opened the balcony door, jumped outside and held the tree branch. I could feel the texture of this tree branch. I kept on climbing, and in my mind I was thinking to climb to the top and then there maybe think about going somewhere. I kept on climbing for a while and then stopped and thought, okay, just take me somewhere. I will wait until something happens. A place started to form. At the same time, I was worried that I may get back to my body soon, but thankfully, a place fully formed around me and I was there. I was on a first floor of a building with thatched roof. Much space of this floor was just open, almost like a big balcony, and covered with roof. I walked to the edge and saw that outside it was a cremation area with a river next to it. It looked very much like the Pashupatinath area in Kathmandu, and on a cremation bed I saw a corpse and some people standing around it. They were doing something. I floated down towards the corpse. Then there was a knowing that I know this person. I approached this corpse and the man himself was standing next to it. I had not seen this face before in my life, and I asked if he is my father's uncle, but the knowing told me that he was the grandfather of my different cousins. I talked with him for a while and said not to be worried and that everything will be all right. I also told him that if he gets lost or anything, he can always come to me and I will try to help however I can. He asked me where I lived. I turned around and showed him the balcony. Actually, it was at this point that I realized that it was not my apartment balcony at all, and it was this place almost similar to the riverside of Pasupatinath temple, and there also I saw a few other people watching from the balcony. He asked me again, "Do you live there in that balcony?" I replied, "No, I go to the balcony often, but next to the balcony there is a room, can you see?" I saw the room as well at that time, and I saw myself and the window of the room, and I told him, "Yes, I live there." After some conversation, I comforted him again by saying not to worry. Then, as I said bye, I got pulled back to my body. In the general comments, I wrote, "I'm happy that I'm back to having OBEs. I have now started to feel the connection to my non-physical experiences more than before. As I'm back, a part of me feels connected to these experiences, not like a dream or distant memory, but sets of events that has happened to me that has changed me. I would like to do more soul rescue missions, and most importantly, I would like to reconnect with my guide in conversations." OBE 107 took place on 23rd of September 2025, and during the day I meditated with Advanced Focus 10 in school, and in the evening I played the OBE alarm audio and fell asleep. At some point in the night I felt that I was hearing tonal ear pulsations. Then I tried to get out, but it was very heavy or difficult to separate. So I visualized sitting on a chair and moving my legs up. It worked, and I could feel my legs separated. So I moved the non-physical legs away from my body and separated fully. This was the first exit. It was all dark. I approached the window to jump outside, but on a second thought, I opened the door and looked if I could see anything or anybody. It was still dark. Then I saw that the balcony door was already open. I went ahead and jumped outside. I tried to hold the tree branch, but nothing happened. There was no tree branch, and I was back in my body. Second exit. I got out again, and this time I went outside through the window and held the tree branch. I could feel it this time, and the texture was starting to get spiky, almost like winter branches. I climbed up through the branch and waited for something to happen. Well, nothing happened, and I was back in my body. Third exit. I got out again with some difficulties to separate. Then I jumped out of the window and started walking forward. I thought of continuing to walk until something happens. And after some walking, I got back to my body. Fourth exit. Before getting out, this time I opened my left eye a little bit. The vision was a bit clear since previously it was all dark. After I rolled out of the body, I wanted to open both my eyes, but I thought that it's fine with just one eye because I didn't want to remain in proximity to my physical body, trying to open my both eyes and end up getting back again. At least the sight was clear. So I jumped out of the window and held the tree branch again. The tactile feeling of the branch was still same as before, spiky. I continued to climb up for some time and stopped at the top. There I said, "Please take me somewhere I need to be." A click followed. I saw a nicely lit clouds in distance, with golden tint in some areas. I remained still as I asked myself, "What is this place?" A click followed. I found myself on a ground. Around me there were some huts with just one floor, looking like some school area. Soon I saw some entities, human-like entities or humanoid shapes. They were either fighting or training for a combat. They looked like children or small people. I didn't understand why they were at each other. I didn't want to interfere and just kept observing for some time. But soon I felt like I had to do something to stop this fighting. I approached them and asked why they were doing this, and I tried to intervene, but it wasn't working. They were gaining hand on children or little people, and from my behind some people came in and joined the fight. At this point, the whole place became visually very clear to me. Until now, I was just seeing some parts of this place. And at this point it was all very clear, and I was also looking around and trying to see details of this place. I thought of helping them and tried to form a gun in my hand, and I focused really hard looking at my hand and doing that and trying to really create this weapon, but nothing was happening, nothing formed in my hand. I remembered of my OBE 27, where I created a small plant in my hands and thought that I could do this, but maybe weapon was not a good idea. Maybe a plant or something else would have been a good idea. Anyways, the situation was getting intense, at least for me. I saw that all of them had managed to put down the aggressors on the ground, and one of the aggressors, his half body was below the ground and his head was visible above the ground. He could escape at any moment, and I ran to him and pointed my hands towards his head as if I had a gun. I cocked the gun and pulled the invisible trigger. Well, nothing happened from my side, but the man got confused. And in this confusion, one of them kicked the head, and then it separated very easily. There was no blood or wound or anything, and I was confused as another man came to assist this separated head, and everything was calmly back to normal, including the man whose head was just separated. It felt like this whole thing was like a drama or a practice or a training for everyone involved there, perhaps a simulation. I looked behind me and saw a watchtower made with bamboo. I approached it and I climbed up with another person with me, and up there I saw a man sitting on a platform. I quickly learned that this man was like the overseer or a master there. I asked him what this place is, and he said that they are training the rescuers or healers. And I said to him that I want to help as well, and asked him to allow me to have more OBEs more often, please. I said, I want to learn more as well. He said, referring to my OBEs, often, like how? Like you are doing now, this often? And I said, yes, more of this please, like more OBEs please. I was about to say daily please, but I thought to myself that it may be too much information to note down daily. He was able to sense my thoughts as well, but it became very emotional for me. And I said, yes please, I want to help as well. Especially I want to help people in the planet Earth where I'm currently based. I want to be able to learn more in the non-physical and bring the information that would help people in the physical planet. He looked at me and thought for some time and acknowledged something and said okay. And as he said okay, I felt that I was being pulled back to my body. I didn't want to get back just yet, but I got back anyways. In this way, some of the OBEs are quite funny, that something happens and I feel something is about to happen, something significant, some conclusion, but then I get back. Now I yearn more to communicate with the guides, like before, with clear audio or audiovisual communication. Of course, more meditation and more patience is needed from my side, and I need to be in the discipline. OBE 108 took place on 29th September 2025, and I was visiting my wife in Helsinki for the weekend, and I had traveled back in the evening. The ferry was very rocky due to the wind, and I couldn't rest during the travel. As I arrived at the apartment, I quickly ate some bread toast and lay down to sleep. And before sleeping, I played the OBE alarm on the phone and repeated affirmations, out of body now. Now I have communication with my guides. At some point in the night, I heard the tonal ear pulsations around 3:20 to 3:40 according to my watch, and I was not sure so much, but I tried to get out anyways, and it worked. First exit. First my legs were separated, and the top part of the body took some time to fully separate. As I was out, I approached the window. I tried to open it, but I couldn't, so I used my both hands to hold the handle and move it to open the window. Once opened, I jumped outside. It was still dark, and soon a click followed and I was back in my body. Second exit. It was an easy rollout this time, still dark. I decided to open my eyes. It felt like I was opening my physical body eyes, not wanting to be pulled back immediately. I approached the window, and for some time I was seeing the room very clearly. Then another click followed and I was back in my body. So I waited for the tonal ear pulsations to come back again, but it didn't, and I soon fell asleep. I now start to understand that using an OBE alarm actually helps a lot. Since my meditations is not so regular these days, yet I use the OBE alarm audio, it helps somehow, but I still feel that for a clear and longer experience, I do need to continuously practice meditation. It is a very exciting journey, nevertheless. Well, see you after the next experience.